livestream.com. We've got a lot to talk about this week with air quality number one, some storms Tuesday number two, and overall it starts comfortable early this week, so I want you to get out and enjoy it, even if we have just a hint of smoke around. The good news is air quality moderate, much better than it was previously when we had the thickest smoke plume in the area. So that is some spin positive. That is some good news. You can see it retreating generally ahead of our next cold front, which is coming on Tuesday. So let me also animate some temperatures for you so you can see how generally we're in the 80s this week, and the Tuesday cold front and lower pressure area that is coming toward us is something we're watching. Storms are likely, the strength and intensity of the storms, medium confidence at best. Could we see some strong severe storms? That is possible. Cavs 45 fan on Instagram is reporting Virginia is smoky. Thanks for that report. Adrienne, BM, Cavs, Sarah, David, Wailu, and we've got M Heft as well. Thanks for joining on Instagram. I'm on Apple and Android for our app, and live streaming right now. We're at Capital Weather, Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow us on any of those social media channels at Capital Weather. I'm Camden Walker. Anytime you need us, human, always at the helm at capitalweather.com. Now, the setup on Tuesday with that cold front approaching, we have super moist air and lift and instability coming together. Ingredients are there. So we could see some storms with damaging winds, slight chance as it stands now, medium confidence at best. But again, wind damage is possible with gusts 57 miles per hour or higher. In addition, there is enough atmospheric moisture. We could see some very serious quick rains. So we need to be aware that flooding downpours are possible as we get toward Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening. So let me see. Let me make sure I have the latest graphic up there for you. I want to ensure, there we go. This is the latest graphic for Tuesday, so we could see some flooding downpours, slight chance in the region for Tuesday. And it is because this precipitable water, it will feel humid, and the available water that could rain down on us from slow-moving storms, this meets criteria. When it's over 2 inches of precipitable water, we could see flash flooding, as the Weather Prediction Center is correctly identifying that as the potential. So two hazards from these storms on Tuesday: damaging wind gusts over 57 miles per hour, and flooding downpours where we could see a quick 2 inches of rain, if not more, in a very short period of time. So, all right, Cavs 45 fan is seeing some fairly docile storms. Cesar Cardulo, we need the rain. Yes, indeed. The good news is we could see some rain this week. The majority of this, the kind of mixed news, is that the majority of this 1 to 2 inches of rain for the region could fall on Tuesday night into early Wednesday. The exact timing of this cold front instigating these rains and storms Tuesday and Wednesday, still to be determined. Still a couple question marks. But yes, the drought is still here, especially south and east of town. That's where we could see we need the most rain. But again, the good news is we do see some targeting there of the rain this week, south and east of town, where the drought is fairly strong to severe. So we need to alleviate that as well. Now, looking ahead really quick on temperatures in the medium term, not a very big heat signal at all in the upcoming 6 to 10 days or so. Maybe we cool down this weekend. It's unclear. I think the majority of temperatures are going to be landing in the 80s, with humidity peaking hopefully Tuesday and Wednesday, and a little bit nicer by this weekend. We'll see. Low confidence that far out, but there's also a signal. More good news for those wanting rain. We could see a little bit more of an above average precipitation signal in the medium to long, kind of medium range forecast. All right, so we've got tropics to talk about really quick, since I know a lot of you are interested. We've got Tropical Depression 2, 50-50 chance it develops into a tropical storm, mainly a rain producer for the Gulf Coast, and not expected to affect the DC area. So that is some good news. And named storms are the next named storm, if it does reach tropical storm status, would be Bertha, because we've already had very briefly, very quickly, Arthur out to sea earlier this season. Now, don't forget, we have the Capital Weather shop, and you can go to capitalweather.com/store. You can also advertise with us. There's so many ways to support us. We love even our free members. Thank you so much for signing up and doing our ad-supported services on capitalweather.com. And our most popular items in the store, I think, are mugs, umbrellas. We've got the Snowcrete sweatshirt, and I think a couple t-shirts are going pretty fast as well. So please check that out when you get a chance. All right, we've got Randy, AJ, ACH, Todd, and CJ and Dens. Thanks so much for tuning in. I think we are live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, and Facebook. So thanks so much for tuning in on all of our social media channels. We're at Capital Weather anytime you need us. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is our weekly 20-minute Sundays at 7 live chat. I'm Camden Walker. We are looking at how smoke is going to slowly dissipate. The air quality is going to be not as bad. It's going to be in the yellow moderate range in the near to medium term. So that's some good news. I know it's smoky tonight. Not as bad as it has been, but we can still smell it in the air. But the good news is it's slowly pulling away, slowly dissipating the atmosphere, mixing into a thinner layer of the atmosphere. So that's some good news as well. And we have temperatures I want to animate for you as well because the cold front is approaching this week. A nice Monday is something to focus on. As smoke decreases tomorrow, I think it's going to be a pretty good day. And temperatures are fairly comfortable, I think, overall. The humidity doesn't kick in until Tuesday and into Wednesday, it looks like. So that's where we're focused on the strong severe storm potential Tuesday as well. All right, Pamela thanks for tuning in on YouTube. We want to bring some rain to Culpeper. Less than 2 inches for all of July. I appreciate you tuning in as well. So we will get you as much rain as we can. That is the good news that we do see rain this week, 1 to 2 inches, even for Central Virginia, for Culpeper, maybe an inch, inch and a quarter or so. Drought does persist in Central Virginia, especially south and east of DC, is where things are currently the hardest for agriculture, for our gardens. So we do want to get more rain down there, but a little too much too quickly possible on Tuesday. Storms are likely. The strength, the intensity is less certain on Tuesday, but we could see flooding downpours a little too much too quickly on Tuesday. So please stay tuned to capitalweather.com as we get closer to Tuesday, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, even early Wednesday. Some of these storms could bring damaging wind gusts to the DC area. So we need to keep an eye on that dual threat for damaging winds and flooding downpours on Tuesday. Now, we're watching the timing of this front. It moves very quickly from the Midwest toward the DC area. Now, an area of kind of a line of lower pressure in the region is going to set off some storms potentially early to mid afternoon on Tuesday. And not to get into the details too much because there's still enough that could change depending again on the timing of this cold front. But we could see more than one round of storms. More than one round could be strong to severe as we go from Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening into overnight hours, even on Tuesday night and into early Wednesday. So if this cold front does not clear us out until early Wednesday, we need to just keep one little eye on things to see if rains are moving out or maybe still giving us some downpours onto early rush hour on Wednesday as well. All right. Again, drought, we're hoping to alleviate this week with 1 to 2 inches of rain potentially in the region. Most of this that you're seeing over the next 7 days does potentially fall Tuesday into early Wednesday. Temperatures for the medium term, no major heat signal, maybe a slight lean below average. So that would be nice if we can keep it below 90 degrees. We will see. And precipitation, maybe a slight lean toward above average precipitation in the medium term. We will keep you posted. All right, let me check questions and comments. We've got the chat comments coming in on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Let's put up the smoke animation and the air quality being only moderate this week. Luckily, yellow is much better than red and purple where we were, and the smoke is expected to dissipate. All right, let me check comments. We've got Bonnie on Facebook, and good to see you. Good to see a couple of you on Facebook. And thanks again, Pamela, for being on YouTube. We've got Lynn and Christy and ATV on Instagram. And let's see if and Megadom, thanks for tuning in. Kathy, any other questions? I want to make sure I haven't missed them on Instagram. I've got to scroll a little bit. We've got A little bit of smoke in and out, Levine 1029. It still looks like even behind the cold front Tuesday night into Wednesday, still some smoke could be entrained into the region. I think haze is kind of going to be with us more often than not this upcoming week. But if we are lucky and question marks remain, can we keep it above the surface so that we, yes, haze, but no air quality issues? That's why this air quality is interesting through the middle part of this week. It should stay yellow. That's the current forecast for only moderate air quality impacts for near surface smoke. So hopefully most of the smoke, even behind our Tuesday night cold front, can stay at higher altitudes, higher up in the atmosphere. All right. Johnny Grant, permanent daylight savings. We have to see if that saving time, if that is becoming, I think the House passed that. We'll have to see how that, much discussion you'll see on capitalweather.com as we go forward. Thanks for that question on Instagram. And Scanlon Meg, best time for dog walks, I think early in the morning is the least hot and the least likely time for storms and downpours right now, Monday morning and Tuesday morning. Great question. Zoria of Carol, Christie, and Behop, and it's Maryland. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram as well. All right, let me let me check to make sure I've got, all right, the logo's back up here and we've got the chat comments. We'll wait to see if more come in. Don't forget, you can also check out our shop at capitalweather.com/store and advertise with us is another way to support us, and merchandise is another way to support us. Our umbrellas are very popular. The Snow Creek sweatshirts, some t-shirts, and mugs. The mugs are also very popular as well. All right, in the next 10 minutes or less, I'm Camden Walker for capitalweather.com. You can tune us to the blog anytime. We're human always at the helm at capitalweather.com. And I appreciate seeing so many of you on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, and Facebook for our weekly 20-minute Sundays at 7 chat. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's such a pleasure to see so many of you. All right, let's go through everything one more time. We've got 80s this week. We've got some storms we're watching Tuesday, air quality we're monitoring. But the good news is the smoke is slowly dissipating over the next 24, 48 hours. S.A. Parishimist, welcome. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. All right, air quality moderate at worst is the current forecast this week. We'll keep you posted. Haze is kind of expected more often than not this week, with the hope we can keep the smoke higher up in the atmosphere at higher altitudes. So that is the hope, that we have less near surface smoke for the most majority of this week. All right, temperatures. Let's put that slideshow up above so you can see it's generally 80s this week. And ahead of the cold front, we do get adding humidity. And maybe that humidity is Tuesday and Wednesday before the cold front can completely clear out some of that humidity. So please enjoy tomorrow. I predicted on the latest update I put on capitalweather.com, I think the high temperatures tomorrow are within a few degrees of 85, which is below average. So please enjoy it while we've got it. And humidity Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe heat index values in the upper 90s if we do see a quick surge of temperatures and humidity, especially Tuesday. And that's part of the recipe. We've got moisture, instability, and lift coming into the picture on Tuesday. That's why these storms, while they're likely, thunderstorms look likely, is the bottom line. For Tuesday afternoon, evening, into overnight hours, we could see more than one round. Their intensity is at best a medium confidence forecast. Damaging winds over 57 miles per hour is one of the two severe threats we're facing. The other are downpours that could be producing quick, large amounts of rain, maybe over 2 inches in under an hour, and that is flash flooding territory. So we have a slight chance for flooding downpours we want to flag for you on Tuesday. The atmosphere is very juicy, lots of potential, what's called precipitable water. So we can, if the conditions are right, we can wring out quickly 2.5 inches of rain. And that's maybe just one thunderstorm. We could see storms kind of going over the same area, what's called training. If we see more than one slow moving storm over the same area, that's when rain amounts add up quickly. Hello, Maria. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook. And we've got GoPro Fan on X. I don't see a huge signal for heat in August just yet. We'll, of course, put out our August outlook closer, I think, to August 1st. But let's show you, GoPro Fan, the temperature outlook for the medium term. There is actually this little bit of a backdoor front signal. We'll see. We're on the boundary here of what we could be almost equal chances of above average or below average, but it's not a clear signal in the medium term. So that's what's at least good news. The heat indexes, the extreme heat, seems to be kept at bay for the medium term, and precipitation, which we could use more rain in the region. Precipitation does appear to have a slight signal for above average precipitation. All right, Donna, you're looking hot and humid there. David, glad to see the rain. Yes, indeed. Looking at an inch or two in many spots this week in the region, and we need it. The drought continues with severe droughts, extreme drought in the red here, south and east of town. So that is something we are focused on. The problem is we could get a little too much too quickly this upcoming Tuesday with storms. Damaging wind gusts and flooding downpours are the two threats we could see with our Tuesday storms during the afternoon, evening, and even overnight hours on Tuesday. So, smoke risk is another question coming in here. Thanks, GoPro fan on X. Smoke is not completely out of the picture just yet. I think we're going to see haze with high altitude smoke for much of this week. But the good news is moderate air quality, yellow air quality, is currently forecast to be the worst, with near surface smoke slowly thinning out, slowly dissipating as we go into the early and middle part of this work week. So that's the good news. I think we could still smell it at times, but the serious impacts on air quality, the need for N95 masks if you're outdoors for long periods of time, I think that is not in the picture just as of yet. Now, the caveat being, the one question mark, we didn't have much warning before the last burst of smoke. So when we start predicting more than 2.5, 3 days into the future, it's lower confidence. Wildfires could change trajectory, their smoke levels could change amounts, and we could see a quick compromise of air quality with only maybe 12 hours notice. Unfortunately, that's what happened in this last bout. So we need to watch that. But currently, we have some good news with moderate air quality at worst in the near to medium term. MHJT, RPS, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. Alex, good to see you. Michael, 12 Dev, Irene, Plimos, and Ryan, thanks so much. All right, and good to see you. Uh, Mindy, Wednesday night is looking okay right now for the Natscast, for the Nationals. We could see, I think, if you're at Nats Stadium, it looks like for the show. Yes, so Wednesday evening, the front should be out of here. I still can't and don't want to rule out a stray brief shower or storm, but nothing widespread like we're talking about on Tuesday. So temperatures and humidity are coming down. I think by Wednesday evening for your show at Nationals Park. This cold front that's pictured here for Tuesday afternoon moves through pretty quickly in that 24 hours after. The Tuesday concern is storms that maybe last even into early Wednesday with some flooding downpours. There's a slight chance and a slight chance of damaging wind gusts. The precipitable water, the amount of moisture in the atmosphere that could be wrung out and brought down from the clouds into the form of flooding downpours is there. 2.5 inches of precipitable water in many cases. That's definitely flash flood criteria as it stands. Now, we'll see. We might need a flood watch before we get to Tuesday. So stand by for that at capitalweather.com. We will keep you posted on that. And I appreciate you tuning in on Instagram, and JT and Hey and Vance and Mindy, you're most welcome. All right, we've got Erica on and Rob. Let's see. So Donna, hot and humid for you, and we've got Rob, Erica. Let's see. Let's see. I'm sorry that you're feeling that way, Rob. Excellent to see you though on X. All right. And yes, good to see the rain, David and Maria. Hello to you as well. And Sarah and Ben and Maggie and Vicky. Thank you so much for tuning in, and Stacy as well. All right, Lisa, good to see you on Facebook. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's do a quick 1 minute review before I go. I'm Camden Walker for capitalweather.com. Our weekly Sundays at 7. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're trying to do this for 20 minutes every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. for now until the time change. And don't get me started as we started talking about that the House has passed the law for permanent daylight saving time. We'll see how that goes. You'll see plenty of discussion on capitalweather.com if that gets into the Senate's hands. All right, the near term. Let us focus on smoke, which I think many of us are still smelling in the air. The good news is that moderate air quality at worst this week is currently expected. Medium confidence at best that we don't see another quick plume of smoke pop up, but higher altitude smoke is generally our friend. You might see haze instead of breathing in the smoke, if we can keep it higher up in the atmosphere and less impact to our surface air quality. So that's good news. Temperatures this week are generally in the 80s ahead of a cold front that's coming in on Tuesday into Tuesday night. Humidity comes with it Tuesday and to maybe early middle part of Wednesday as well. So Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit humid, generally 80s to maybe near 90 at times. And this cold front, as it moves towards us pretty quickly in an area of lower pressure, it could set off some storms and even some stronger storms. So yes, storms are likely. Pretty high confidence in that. Lower confidence in how intense the storms might be Tuesday into Tuesday night, even early Wednesday. So timing is a small question mark with the speed of the front, the cold front coming through. Will it clear us out? Or maybe will it still be providing some downpours for early Wednesday morning rush hour? We'll see. We'll see. But Tuesday afternoon and evening, I think, are the highest chances for damaging wind gusts from storms, 57 miles per hour or greater. And the second of two threats is flooding downpours, I think, Tuesday afternoon and evening. So far, that timing appears best for the dual threats of severe weather, for flooding downpours and the damaging wind gust potential. Plenty of moisture in the atmosphere. We've got plenty of precipitable water, 2.5 inches. Hopefully, we don't see multiple storms going over the same area, which is called training. Hopefully, the storms have a decent forward motion and don't sit over one area for too long. So, again, we do have a potential flooding risk for Tuesday into Tuesday night. We need the rain. That's the silver lining. A lot of what you're seeing in this map, which you can find in our forecast lab at capitalweather.com, an inch to two of rain is generally welcome news, but the problem is, unfortunately, a lot of this could fall pretty quickly and within a short period of time, Tuesday into Tuesday night. But again, we need it. The drought is still around, especially south and east of town. In the medium term, temperatures are not giving us a heat signal. So that's if you're not wanting to see a large and long duration heat wave. So far, that doesn't appear to be in the cards in the medium term. Precipitation has a slight lean above average for the next medium term as well, 6 to 10 days out. So that is some good news. And tropics, I know we like to touch on sometimes. A lot of you are interested. Nothing's going to affect the DC area, but we could see Bertha develop if it gets into a tropical storm. Right now it's just tropical depression too, but Bertha is mainly a rain producer for the Gulf Coast. Again, not expected to affect DC, but I know there's a lot of interest out there for you. So Steve, hello, and Culpepper, good to see you. Annette, thanks for tuning in on Facebook. And we will have plenty of rain this week. We just want to keep you posted at capitalweather.com. As the smoke retreats, that's the good news. Air quality looks to be moderate at worse this week, and we're watching strong storm potential for damaging wind gusts and flooding downpours on Tuesday. Not a high confidence forecast, but worth keeping an eye on. A human always at the helm, at capitalweather.com. I'm Camden Walker signing off. Good to see all of you. We're at Capital Weather on all 5 of our social media channels. The app is available on Apple and Android. And I will bid you adieu until next Sunday at 7.